by the power of Grayskull.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you like that intro. But in all reality, it is the power of MaxTytan. Realistically, this is the most powerful, most efficient power supply I've ever touched. So the Enermax MaxTytan 1250w titanium rated power supply. Insane. $379.99 is the MSRP. Fully braided cables, titanium rated, breakout box. So this is the cooler Genie that allows you to control your fans on whisper, silent, or off functions. So pretty cool. It has 100% sleeved cables. They are called SleeMax, which is probably one of the first things that you'd notice right away out of this whole power supply kit. SleeMax is softer to the touch. Comes with its own cable combs, which are pretty attractive. They kind of clip into each other, and they come in 4 or 5 slot variants. I just use 4 slot ones in my installation here, running a single GTX 1070 Ti and a X299 system, so on my test bench. So obviously it's a titanium rated power supply, but what does that really mean? So titanium rating is 94% efficiency at the very minimum from 10 to 100% load. Impressive. The power supply also features a wattage meter, which will basically be a digital readout in the backside of the power supply, so that you can see in real time what kind of load you actually are throwing on your system and what your system is actually pulling from the wall. There are other ways to see if you have a certain load, like a kilowatt P3 like I have, as shown in this picture here, but it's fairly accurate, I would say. The fan on it is a 140 millimeter fan, which features a DF rotation, so dust-free rotation. It actually spins up one way and then the other to prevent any dust buildup. Speaking of the fan didn't become audible or even spin up at all until an actual load. Even at that, I couldn't even hear it at all. So very good quality fan on it. Speaking of the fan, it is a semi-fanless option or control. And it is a twister bearing fan. So as I said before, it is a full modular design, fully sleeved cables featuring SleeMax sleeving from Enermax with this black and white speckle, which is pretty cool. It would go along with any color scheme. 100% 105 degree Japanese capacitors inside, so nothing but the best quality products for this. This is oozing good quality. It is rated for 24/7 use at 50 degrees Celsius ready. So it is a non-stop industrial class performance at 50 degree ambient. On the load side of things, this power supply is rated for 1250 watts on the 12 volt rail. The 12 volt rail is an impressive 104 amps on a single rail, meaning that if you were to have 3 or 4 power hungry GPUs with 2 or 3 PCI Express connectors, you know that your GPU is going to get all the amps it is craving to get. 104 amps is a lot of amperage. No GPU will be starved with this power supply whatsoever. Cooler Genie is a little breakout box. It's right here that allows your power supply and a few fans to be controlled in a whisper or silence or even off configuration from this little breakout box. And it's basically a simplified fan controller. Pretty cool that Enermax is actually including something like this. First time I ever encountered this on something like a power supply. Usually you see this in like a AIO cooler, or you'd see this on a case, but never usually a power supply, but why not? As far as cables that are included, Enermax is going to make sure that you don't have to worry about needing extra cables if you needed it. So included in the box is going to be your same 24 pin connector, which is a 60 centimeter length. You do get one 4 and 4 pin CPU connector and one actual 8 pin connector, so you can do 2 different CPU plugins if your motherboard requires that. You do get 8 PCIe cables, 6x2 configuration, SATA cables, 16 SATA connections on there, and then you do get 8 4-port Molex pot. So even the floppy drive cable is sleeved. Wow, just attention to detail. All right, so what are my thoughts on the Enermax MaxTytan 1250w power supply? Impressive, just impressive. At $379, it is easily the most expensive power supply I've ever touched or tested. But in my opinion, it was the best power supply I've ever touched or tested. With that said, I am going to give it 5 out of 5 flames. Wonderful power supply, a little bit on the spendy side, but worth every single penny.